ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ते भेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणम् श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम् यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम् साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणम् तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारम् प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तमा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तः शान्तः शान्तिः सूत्रार्थो वर्ण्यते यत्र वाक्यैः सूत्रानुकारिभिः
सूत्रार्थो
वर्ण्यते
वर्ण्यते यत्र वाक्ये सूत्रानुकारिभिः
स्वपदानि च वर्ण्यन्ते भाष्यं भाष्यविदो विदुः
स्वपदानि च वर्ण्यन्ते भाष्यं भाष्यविदो विदुः
ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि
वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि
वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो
वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो
बलमिन्द्रियाणि
बलमिन्द्रियाणि
च
च सर्वाणि
सर्वाणि
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
सर्वं
सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
ब्रह्मोपनिषदम्
माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम्
मां
माहं
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
निराकुर्यात्
निराकुर्याम्
मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्
मा
मा
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म निराकरोत्
निराकरोत्
अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु
अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं
अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं
मे
मे
अस्तु
अस्तु
तदात्मनि निरतेयमुपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु
तदात्मनि
ते
निरतेय उपनिषत्सु
उपनिषत्सु
धर्मास्ते
धर्मास्ते
मयि
मयि
सन्तु
सन्तु
ते
ते
मयि
मयि
सन्तु
सन्तु
ॐ शान्तिः
ॐ शान्ति
शान्तिः
शान्ति
शान्तिः
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 Fourth chapter, sixth mantra. Tadvanan नाम
तद्दनं नाम
नाम
तद्वनम् इत्युपासितव्यम्
तद्वनं युक्ताभासितव्यम्
स य एतदेवम्
स एतदेव
तदेवं
वेदाभुहैनम् सर्वाणि भूतानि संवाञ्छन्ति
वेदाभिधेयं
वेदाभिधेयं
सर्वाणि
सर्वाणि
भूतानि संवाञ्छन्ति
वाञ्छन्ति
तद्ब्रह्म किल वनम् वनम् इति वनम् वननीयम् भजनीयम् पूजनीयम्. The mantra which we saw, the last upasana, the most adorable, pujaniyam, worshipful. Here the upasana, it is glorifying Brahma in the form of this Jagat. Brahma as Ishvara enjoys this name, Tadvanam, that which is to be adored, to be worshipped. That is the object of upasana. Brahma is glorious. Yadyat vibhuti, vatsatvam, whatever vibhuti, whatever glorious thing which we see in this creation, it all belongs to the Lord. Yadyat vibhuti vatsatvam srimadur jitameva. Bhagavan says that it is only a fraction of my glory. Tattadeva, tattadeva, tattadeva vagachatvam mama tejomsha amsha sambhavam. It's only a fraction of my glory. Therefore, this Jagat, which is Brahma, Brahma which is in the form of the Jagat, that is Upasana, recognizing the glory of Jagat, the glory of Brahma through Jagat. So therefore, yaha etat Brahma, this Brahma, evam upasitavyam saha Veda upaste, the one who meditates on this Brahma, as Tadvanam, that every glory belongs to Ishvara. Iti Sarvani Bhutani Samvanchanti. All the beings Sarvani Bhutani Samvanchanti. The one who worships Ishvara as Tadvanam in the form of the glory, then that glory, the one who worships, that glory of Ishvara becomes a glory of that person. Therefore, people will like that person. If as a devotee is attached to, devoted to Ishvara, so the people will be devoted to, will be in love with that person. So therefore, Sarvani Bhutani Samvanchanti. All the Bhutas, Sarvani Bhutani, all the beings, Sarvani Bhutani, all the beings adore that person because that person who does upasana, meditates upasana, does meditation on Brahma and recognizes glory of Brahma in the form of the Jagat, the glory of Brahma is the glory of that person. Therefore, Sarvani Bhutani Abhisambhanchanti Prarthayante Yatha Brahma. The Bhasham Bhashagara said Yatha Brahma iti. So up to this is the Upasana. This is the last Upasana. Guna Abhidhana, Guna Visishta Upasana. Recognizing the glory of the Brahma in the form of this Jagat. That is the Upasana. That is why Vanam iti. Now, having taught Upasana is supposed to be before Jnanam, before Jnanakanda. Jnanakanda, already Jnanam is given. Upanishad has been taught. The first chapter and the second chapter already done. The third chapter, the Akhyayika, the story began, and the story concluded in the fourth chapter. Then Upasana starts. Now, with this, the Upanishad is supposed to be completed. Even though the order is reversed, but Upanishad is done, finished. But it is not over. Now, the Shishya who was listening to all this, yes, Shishya among the students, one particular student, he gets up and he does a prarthana, he makes a request to the Acharya, the teacher. What is the prarthana? That is this mantra. Let us read mantra number 7 and Bhashikara, the Bhashim, Sangati Bhashim. Evam Anushishtaha Shishyah
एवम् अनुशिष्टः शिष्यः
Acharyam Uvacha
आचार्यमुवाच
आचार्यमुवाच
Upanishadam Bho Bruhi
उपनिषदं
को
को
ब्रूहि
ब्रूहि
Yetyukta Tav Upanishad
इत्युक्ता
इत्युक्ता
उपनिषत्
उपनिषत्
Brahmim Bhavata Upanishadam Abruma Iti.
ब्राह्मी
ब्राह्मीवावत
उपनिषदम्
उपनिषदम् अब्रूम इति
इति
Bruhi Lot Madhyama Purusha Ekavachanam Hi Sehi Apicha Vedat Sutra Lot Lakara Brudhatu Brudhatu is Subhayapati. Madhyama Purusha he is replaced, the say is replaced by he and it will be Apitu. So here he said he. If it is Adantanga, he will go away. Patatu Patatam Patantu Patha Ato He Vedat Sutra, he goes away. But here Brudhatu, which is second conjugation. Shab comes and Shab goes. It's not Adantanga. Therefore, he saying is replaced by he remains apit also. So Brugi, you tell, you teach. Bho, addressing. Sambodhana. Bho Brugi, Bho sir, Bho teacher. Upanishadam, Upanishadam Bho Brugi. Before that, Evam Anushishtaha Sangati. Evam Anushishtaha Shishyaha Acharyam Uvacha Bho Bho Upanishadam Brugi. Evam Anushishtaha. That is Shish Dhatu. Shish Dhatu as the meaning of, from that only we get the word Shas Dhatu, Kshimita. Shas Anushishtav, not Shish Dhatu. Shas Anushishtav. From that only we get Shishyaha, the word also. So Shas Anushishtav. So here Anushishtaha, the one who is taught. Nishta Pratyaya. Who is taught? Shishyaha is taught. Evam Anushishtaha by whom? Acharya. Acharyena evam Anushishtaha Shishyaha Acharyam Uvacha. Acharyena evam. In this manner, in this way. In this manner, Acharya has taught him, has given him Jnanam, Upanishad, Jnanakanda, the knowledge he has given in the first and second chapter, and also the knowledge of the Upasana also, which is the preparatory discipline for gaining Jnanam. That also, having taught that all the sadhakas, all the shishyas are not at the same level. They are at different levels. So having understood that, that also he taught. No, the same Shishya, that one Shishya among the students, that Shishya. Acharyam Uvacha, he tells the teacher, he asks the teacher, Acharyam Uvacha Papracha. Papracha, what does he ask? Upanishadam, Bho, Upanishadam Bruhi. Boho, Boho, Upanishadam Bruhi iti Shishyaha Uvacha. Te Upanishad Ukta, te Ramim Upanishadam Vava Bruma iti Guruhu Uvacha. That is Guruho Vachanam. Shishyasya Vachanam Boho Upanishadam Bruhi iti. That is Shishya Vachanam. Boho. Boho is a respectful way of addressing. It is Sambodhana. Is Sambodhana, Manarte Sambodhana. Boho. So Bruhi, please tell me, Upanishadam. Please teach me Upanishad. Having taught again the Shishya scheme. Generally, generally with if it is any other subject matter, the teacher would have definitely got irritated, would have lost hope. But here, the teacher did not get disappointed. The teacher said, Rami te ukta. Te ukta. Te what? Rami te ukta. Brahmi is Brahmanaha iyam Brahmi. Brahma Vishayaha ityartaha. Brahmi, that which is connected to Brahma. Brahmi. The knowledge, Brahma Vidya, the knowledge for which the subject matter is Brahma. That is Ukta, that is taught. Ukta eva. Ukta te Upanishad. So te, tava, to you, because of Sandhi te, ye, addition, te, to you, Upanishad Ukta. To you, Upanishad is already taught. And that te to you Upanishad is taught, Upanishad Ukta. And te to you Upanishadam Abruma. Brahmim Vava Upanishad Abruma. Brahmim is Brahmanaha Sambandhi, which is Brahmi. So Brahmim Abruma. The Upanishad, which is the Upanishad which is related to Brahma, Brahmanaha Sambandhi. Te to you Upanishadam, Brahmim Upanishadam, Dvitiya Ekavachanam. So Brahmi is Tadita, Brahmanaha Sambandhi. Abruma Bhagavachana, we taught you. The teacher says. Now, the having taught Upanishad, again the Shishya asking, and Upanishad also presents as though the Shishya is asking about the subject matter which has been taught. So, what is the reason? What is the intention of the Upanishad putting this question through the mouth of the Shishya? There must be some intention. Otherwise, the Upanishad need not need not put this question through the mouth of the Shishya. There must be some reason. So it means the Upanishad wants to teach something more. It provides an occasion for discussing some more things. Brahma Vidya is the knowledge of Brahma, that is itself is moksha. The Brahma Vidya is moksha. But we say Jnanam as a means and moksha is the end. But Jnanam itself is moksha. When Jnanam happens, the person is free. Therefore, the Jnanam has to happen as the means. Therefore, Jnanam, Jnanena mokshaha. But for Jnanam, what is required? Jnanam is not possible without the Pramanam. So therefore, Pramanam. And Pramanam here is Shabda Pramanam. So therefore, for this knowledge, there is no dependency on any other means, but only on Shabda Pramanam. Therefore, Shabda Pramanam only on Shastra. For Jnanam to happen, for Jnanam, the Jnanam is moksha. Pramana, Apeksha is there. And Pramanam, which is in the form of the Shastra, that is Upanishad. That is the Upanishad. Upanishad gives knowledge, and knowledge is a means to moksha. Therefore, only Acharya here says Upanishad Ukta iti. Te tava. And Shastra as such, it is the Pramanam for, as a whole, it's a Pramanam. The first part of the Veda, which is Veda Purva, that is also Pramanam. But the difference is the knowledge of the rituals, karma. After having gained the knowledge, one has to perform the ritual to get the result of the ritual. So therefore, the result depends on the proper performance of the karma as stipulated by the Veda. Karma Kanda also gives knowledge. Jnana Kanda also gives knowledge. The difference between them is having gained the knowledge of the karma has to be done. That mere knowledge will not give the result. Mere understanding of karma will not give the result. Therefore, there is apeksha on the karaka. The different factors are involved in performing the karma. Karta, karma, Yajamana must be the karta. In fact, 16 plus 2. 16, that is If each for each representing each Veda, 4 Ritviks, 4 priests, plus Yajamana, that is the performer and his wife, that is one Karaka. Similarly, other Karakas, Karma, the object of oblations, and Karana by what it is offered, and the so many other factors, Adhikarana, Sampradana Karaka, all the Karakas are involved. Therefore, there is Karaka Apeksha. On these factors, the karma is dependent. And then having done the karma only, the result the person can enjoy. The results happen. So that is Karaka Apeksha. But in the case of Upanishad, in the case of Jnanakanda, there is no Karaka Apeksha. There is no Sadhana Apeksha. After knowledge, there is no Sadhana Apeksha. You have to do this. There is no such thing. Because the Upanishad has taught you everything. The Acharya has taught the Upanishad. The Upanishad, everything is taught. That's why it is called Sarvavidya Pratishtha. There cannot be anything left out completely. It is complete. The Vidya is complete. So therefore the Acharya says, he has taught the Upanishad. Because if it is Karmakanda or any other, then you may say something is left out. Therefore, that you have left other Upanishad or Karmakanda or any other topic also, any other material subjects. There a person, even Vyakaranam also. There the teacher would have left certain topics undiscussed, and there occurs a possibility that student getting up and asking question. But here, in the case of Upanishad, what could be left out by the teacher? The Vidya itself is complete. We cannot give partial knowledge to as a teacher. The Acharya says here, we cannot give partial knowledge to the student. Only half or only a quarter or if so only 73%. Not like that. It is complete. The knowledge is complete. It cannot be partial. Either the knowledge is correct or wrong. That is only is. Even if it is wrong knowledge, it has to be total. So there cannot be partial here. And the student who is asking this question is not a new student. It is just the same student has been listening to all these classes. So the same student is asking. It means the Upanishad asking this question through the mouth of Shishya is to convey two things. One is Pramanam only required for knowledge. Nothing else is required. Pramanam. So there is no sadhana apeksha, there is no karaka apeksha, just by pramanam. Pramanam gives the knowledge and the knowledge is moksha. Jnanam eva moksha. Since pramanam gives knowledge, therefore we say jnanena moksha. But jnanam eva moksha. The jnana liberates you. So that the Upanishad reiterates. Therefore, Acharya says, Hey Upanishad, Ukta, the knowledge has been given to you, taught to you. Therefore, what else is required? This is one thing. Second thing is, for moksha, what else is required? Nothing is required. Jnanam itself is moksha. Therefore, Upanishad is taught completely. Therefore, by saying that, Upanishad negates indirectly the need of karma or any other thing as a support for knowledge to moksha. So, these two important things are conveyed. One is Pramanam is required. Other than Pramanam, nothing is required. And no other sadhana also is required as a support to knowledge for moksha. These two important points. Therefore, Upanishad te Sutta, and that is Brahmi Upanishad, that its knowledge itself is sufficient. Nothing else is required. Now, in spite of having taught this, in spite of having listened to this, still students would not have got that the knowledge or the insight. Therefore, a student can ask, please teach me Upanishad. Again, he can ask. That is possible. Having taught, having taught the Upanishad and it's complete, still because of the lack of some preparedness or whatever it is, the students could not get the insight. Therefore, he wants to listen to that more. Therefore, again, would have asked, please teach me Upanishad, Upanishadam, Bobru Giti. That is possible. So, in this way only, these two ways only, it is possible. So, the Upanishad either wants to convey this, or of course, Upanishad wants to convey. That is one thing. Or the reason behind the student asking this question is to get more insight into it. The student would have asked this question. And why the student also did not get insight, that particular student, because this is the Vidya is this Vidya is not easy. It is, even though this Vidya we call as Rahasya, Guda, it's an open secret. Upanishad is called Rahasya, Raja Vidya, Raja Gugya. What is secret in this? The knowledge is secret means it is sacred, not even secret. In spite of being taught, it is not understood. Ascharyaha Bhakta, Ascharyaha Shrota. Even though taught by the teacher, but one who teaches is Ascharya, who gives the Vidya is Ascharya, wonder. One who receives the knowledge is wonder. In spite of listening to it, people don't understand. That is also his wonder, because it is about you, the very person. So, therefore, since the teaching probably would not have worked for the student, therefore, the student is asking again, Upanishadam, Bobhogi. That is why we have different Upanishads, and different Upanishads out of different Prakriya. And a student can choose to his taste any Upanishad depending on Prakriya which he is comfortable with and can understand the truth. That is the idea. Prakriyas are the support. Like we have Panchakosha Prakriya, Avastatara Prakriya, like in Mandukya, there are different Prakriyas. Adhyaropa Pavada Prakriya. The different Prakriyas are there. Whichever Prakriya is comfortable with. The idea is the Prakriya is our support. So we should not hold on to the Prakriya, but the vision, what the Upanishad conveys, that is important. So we saw in this Upanishad itself, two types of adhikaris. In the second chapter, the adhikari, the student said, after having taught, that one student told, Manye Viditam, Naham Manye Suvedeti, no Vedeti Vedacha. So when Upanishad taught, then the student told, I think it is known to me. And he said, Naham Manye Suvedeti. I don't say that I know it very well. At the same time, I don't know. But I think I know it. It means the student has understood what the Upanishad has taught. He is an adhikari, Uttam adhikari. That adhikari could catch the teaching of the Upanishad. And here the adhikari is a different adhikari. Madhyama adhikari, mediocre. And Shruti Upanishad, like your mother, caters to all the people, all the students. That is why it is compared to 1,000 mothers. So without making any judgment, taking into consideration all the different types of the students, the sadhakas, Upanishad again it teaches. So sometimes after having known the teaching, the jnanam, but for some that alone is not sufficient for moksha. In a sense, knowledge is a means, only means, and that is through Shastra Pramana. But it has for that knowledge, for Pramana to give that jnanam, so one has to be prepared. That's why the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is again and again it is emphasized. The student must be a sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha, must have gained sufficient maturity. Sufficient maturity. When the student is with a self-judging, self-condemning. So then self-judging, self-condemning, and self-conclusions already concluded. All these things can happen for a sadhaka in the spiritual life. I am not good for this knowledge. I think I'm not prepared for this. So, so I'm not ready for this. Such things can happen in the life of a sadhaka. Swamiji beautifully says in our class, it can happen, but it is not true. It is all these things, it's quite natural, happens in the life of a sadhaka. When we listen to the Upanishad, all the subconscious, the unconscious, which are deeply buried inside, they will pop up. That is called kashaya in the language of Karika. It's called kashaya. All kashayas will pop up because we enjoy certain inner leisure. Therefore, these kashayas will pop up. And this because the kashaya, why kashaya is pop? Because we enjoy certain inner leisure. It's quite natural when we study Vedanta, all these things can happen. That's why sometimes we see erratic behavior also because the person not able to objectively look at the kashayas, the unconscious, being identified with that, sometimes carried away. There only one requires a certain, requires vigilance. One should be vigilant, looking upon them as it is, not reacting to it, no response. Just it is. See, all these are inside. It has to come out. It has to be cleaned. That cleaning, it's a cleaning process. In fact, it is cleansing process. The nature has made that all this, whatever we have gathered in our childhood, everything is put deep under. Now all these things has to come out. And the right occasion, it waits for the right occasion to come. And this is the right occasion when the person is exposed to this teaching, when the person enjoys inner leisure, and that too in the ashram, it's quite possible it happens. The unconscious is not it's not when it pops up, it is not a pratibandha. In fact, it is trying to get out from the system. So it is good. So that is unconscious. Why this unconscious, if at all, if it is there, without unconscious, the child cannot survive. Because the child who comes to the world, it has to survive. So whatever experiences it feels threatened. It feels insecure. Therefore, whatever experiences it gains, everything is put in the deep unconscious, and the nature covers it. If the child is constantly exposed to that, the child may not survive. So nature itself has provided a beautiful mechanism. All these are put deep inside, buried inside. Not buried, not gone forever. It is inside. It will pop up when it is when the appropriate time comes. So therefore, one should not be self-judging based on what pops up as unconscious. I am not ready for this Atma Jnanam. So this is self-judging. So one has to be extremely compassionate with oneself. We're not talking about compassion with others. It's being compassionate with oneself. One should not be too hard on oneself. So this is what is Pakota, this is maturity. And in the language of the Upanishad, Viveka, Vairagya, all those things, this maturity, that inner maturity that is required for this knowledge. So the Antakaranam, the mind, which is now clear, which is well disciplined, well prepared, there is no self-condemnation, there is no the self-rejection, doesn't judge itself. The self-judging is always a problem. So that person who is now an adhikari has gained the prakwata, the maturity, non-judging person. Now antakarana is relaxed and light. When jnanam happens, jnanam through Upanishad. When jnanam is when it is taught, then moksha is gained, which is already gained. He discovers. But therefore here, the point is one must have the preparedness for the knowledge. If preparedness is not there, even the person is exposed to pramana, the moksha doesn't happen. Jnanam happens, but moksha doesn't happen because of the lack of preparation. So, therefore, here, this teaching is again given to the student, not to distinguish the Uttamadhikari and Madhyamadhikari, Adhamadhikari. No. Giving the Upanishad teaches again, just to show the difference, just to present the difference between Jnanam and Jnana Upaya. Jnanam, that is the only means for moksha, and for gaining the Jnanam, certain preparatory disciplines are required, the upayas, factors which can help to gain that Jnana Yogyata, so that is talked about. So therefore, without dismissing the student's question, without making any judgment, the Upanishad presents the Jnana Upaya also here. The next mantra we will see Jnana Upaya. So therefore, Punaha, this when Shishya asked, teach me Brahma Vidya, teach me Upanishad. Upanishad is Brahma Vidya. And Acharya, the Upanishad says, Acharya teaches again. Acharya says, Upanishad taught. We taught you Upanishad. We taught you Upanishad. Then we have to understand that Upanishad taught, the Acharya taught Upanishad again to the student. Now, with this is the meaning of the mantra. Then we have to see the Bhashyam. Upanishadam Rahasyam
उपनिषदं रहस्यं
उपनिषदं रहस्यं
Yachintyam
यच्चिन्त्यं
Bho Bhagavan
वो भगवन्
वो भगवन्
Bruhi Iti
ब्रूहि इति
ब्रूहि इति
Evam Uktavati Shishye
एवम् उक्तवती शिष्ये
एवम् उक्तवती शिष्ये
Aha Acharyah
आह आचार्यः
आह आचार्य
Ukta Abhigita
ता अभिहिता
मुक्ता
Te
अभिहिता
Te Tava Upanishad.
ते तव उपनिषत्
ते तव उपनिषत्
Is my voice clear?
Yes, Sharanji.
Yes,
Is there any some gap between you and me? That. Okay. Ka
shall I be in
Punaha.
the mute?
No, it's okay. I just want to know. That's a problem on my side, the internet. Ka punaha sa iti aha.
का
का
पुनः
पुनः
सा
सा
इति
इति
आह
आह
Brahmin Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha
ब्राह्मीं ब्रह्मणः
ब्राह्म
परमात्मनः
ब्रह्मणः परमात्मनः
Iyam Iyam Brahmi Tam
इयं ब्राह्मी
इयं ब्राह्मी
ताम्
ताम्
Paramatma Vishayatvat Atita Vijnanasya
परमात्मविषयत्वात् अतीतविज्ञानस्य
परमात्मविषयत्वात् अतीतविज्ञानस्य
Vava Evate
भाव एव ते
वाव एव ते
Upanishadam Abruma Iti
उपनिषदम् अब्रूम
उपनिषदम्
इति
अब्रूम इति
Uktam Eva
उक्ताम्
उक्ताम्
एव
एव
Paramatma 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 Vishayam Upanishadam Abruma Iti. Paramatma Vidya is a
परमात्मविषय
there's a Pata Beda. Paramatma Vishayam or Paramatma Vidyam is the, I think that would be better. 1 minute. Let me Paramatma Vishayam is there, the Tika. So we take Paramatma Vishayam. Paramatma Vidyam also is there. Both are okay. Paramatma Vishayam Upanishadam Abruma Iti.
परमात्मविषयाम् उपनिषदम्
परमात्मविषयम्
अब्रूम इति
अब्रूम इति
Avadharayati iti uttaraartham.
अवधारयति इति उत्तरार्थम्
अवधारयति इति
No.
उत्तरा
Avadharayati uttaraartham. Not iti. Iti is ayadata. Avadharayati uttaraartham. Iti is already done. Avadharayati uttaraartham.
अवधारयति उत्तरार्थम्
अवधारयति उत्तरार्थम्
This is a little long Bhashya. The Akshepa Samadhanam is there. But Bhashya itself, this is the meaning of the words of the mantra is explained. Upanishadam. Upanishadam is Rahasyam. Upanishadam, it is Rahasyam. It is Rahasyam. Rajavidya, Rajagukyam. Gukyam, secret. Because it is not understood, that is why it is Rahasyam. There's no other Rahasyam. Itu Yam Upanishadam, that is Rahasyam. It is a Chintyam. It is Chintaniyam. Chintaniyam, Chintyam. What is Chintyam? Chiti, to think, to consider, to think over, to be thought over. It means why it is Rahasyam in spite of having heard, it is not understood. That is why it is Rahasyam. Why? Because Ravanam is done, but there are Pratibandhas. Therefore, Mananam and Nididhyasanam, therefore Chintya. Therefore should be thought over. In Shravanam, first exposure, that itself is sufficient if the Adhikari is Uttama. But if the Adhikari is not Uttama, Upanishad itself makes an Adhikari Uttama. How? That's why Mananam and Nididhya, repeated Shravanam, repeatedly listening to the Shastram, that itself makes a person an Adhikari, a Yogya Purusha. Of course, preparatory discipline is also required. So from Manda to Madhyama, all the preparatory disciplines, Karma Yoga, Upasana. From Madhyama to Uttama, less lesser time can be spent on the preparatory disciplines like Karma and Karma Yoga and Upasana, and more on Shavanam, Maranam, Nididhyasanam. By that, more time devoted to Shastra Dhyanam, the person becomes Uttama, Uttamadhikari. Therefore, Chintyam is important. Chintaniyam, it is in the form of Shravanam, Maranam, Nididhyasam, Mityartha. Then the Rahasyam is no more Rahasyam, it is an open truth. Therefore, that is the Upanishad. Oh, Bhagavan, oh Lord, oh Bhagavan, Bruhi iti. Please teach. Iti kaha uvacha, shishyaha uvacha. The Upanishad doesn't say, but we have to understand. Upanishadam bo bruhi. Who will ask? Shishya only will ask. To whom you will ask? To the teacher, Acharya. Therefore, shishyaha uvacha. Eva muktavati shishye aha acharya. Acharya. Evam uktavati shishye, to the student. So, evam muktavati shishye. So, evam muktavati shishye is saptami bhakti. So, acharya shishyaya aha, it should be like that. Or shishyam aha, because bru dhatu aha, which is vikarmaka dhatu, can take two karma. What the acharya says, which is pradhana, and to whom he says it's gona. But what does he say is not given. Evam, like in this manner, we can take. That is, in this manner, as taught before. But it's not in Sampradana Shishya, it is in Saptami. That was Sati Saptami. Evam Uktavati. When the Shishya asked, when the Evam Uktavati Shishya, not Shishya asked, when the Uktavati, sorry, when the Shishya asked, when the Shishya told, okay, Shishya asked, yes, Shishya asked, not asked, it is told. Evam Uktavati or Prishtavati, because the student asking. Evam Uktavati Shishya, Prishtavati Shishya, when the Shishya Uktavati told, past tense, told in this way, Evam. So Evam is connected to Shishya. Evam Uktavati Shishya. In this way, manner, when the Shishya asked, but there is no, in fact, two karma is not there, even though it is Vikarma Kada, only one karma. But we can, of course, we can, we can say, the Acharya Upanishadam Shishyaya Aha. But anyway, here it is not that. Here it is Sati Saptami. Okay. When the disciple, when the Shishya told in this manner, then Acharya says, Acharya Aha. Uktavati is Kridanta, therefore, Uktavati Shishya, Shishya Uktavan, Evam Shishya Uktavan, Tada Evam Shishya Uktavan, Tada Acharya Aha. That is Sati Saptami. We saw in our practice grammar class. So you can understand. Acharya aha. Acharya aha. What does it say? Ukta eva. Ukta abhigita. Presented. Abhigita. Abhidhanam. Abhigitam. Presented. Taught. Ukta eva Upanishad. Acharya says. Ukta eva te tava Upanishad. Abhigita eva. Ka punaha sa ityaha. Then why sa? Kasa. What is that Upanishad? Which is Shishya asking again. Already it is Utta eva. Sa punaha sa. Sa ka. What is sa? Sa referring to Upanishad. Upanishad Shrilinga Shabda. Kasa punaha itiyaha. What is that Upanishad? What is that again? That Upanishad. Then Brahmim. The mantra Brahmim Bhavate Upanishad Abrahma iti. So the Upanishad, Brahmim, Upanishad, Brahmanaha, Sambandhi Upanishad already taught to you. Again, what is that Upanishad? That is a question. Then Brahmim, Brahmanaha, Paramatmanaha Iyam. That is that which is related to Brahma. That which is related to Brahmanaha, Paramatmanaha is Brahmim. Brahmanaha, Paramatmanaha Iyam. That is Brahmi, Tam, Brahmim. That which is related to Brahma, that is related to Paramatma is Brahmi, and that Tam Upanishad already have taught. Why Upanishad is called Upanishad of Brahma? Because the subject matter is Brahma. That is why Brahmi iti. Brahmim is Nitya Vibhakti. That is why Upanishad is called Brahmi. Yesham Brahmi. Gita also. Pratipata Nainam Prapya Vimugyati Stitva Syavanta Kalepi Brahma Nirvanam Vichyati iti. The second chapter, the last shloka, Yesha Brahmi, that is Brahmi Sitihi. So the same Brahmi, that is which is related to Brahma, related to Paramatma, that is Brahmi. And Brahmim as an adjective to Upanishad. So Brahmim Upanishadam. Why it is called Brahmi? Because it is related to Brahma, because the knowledge, the subject matter which the Upanishad deals with is Brahma. So therefore, Paramatma Vishayatvat. Vishaya is Paramatma. Paramatma Vishayatvat. Paramatma is Brahma. That which is related to Paramatma, that which is related to Brahma is called Brahmi. So Paramatma Vishayatvat. Atita Vijnanasya. Atita Vijnanasya is Atita, that Vijnanam, the knowledge is Atita means not it is exceeding or beyond, not that. Atita Vijnanasya. Atita Vijnanasya is, it is the knowledge which has already been taught. Atita Vijnana, Gata Vijnanasya. That it is already Atita, it is taught, which has been taught in this first and second chapter. Atita Vijnana it is. It is therefore that Paramatma Vishayatva Sa Upanishad Brahmi iti katyate. Sa Upanishad, which is already taught, Adhigita eva, Ukta eva. Therefore Atita Vijnanasya. Upanishad has been taught. Vava, indeed, it has been taught. Vava is eva, taught this Upanishad. Vayam Abruma, te, to you, Upanishadam, which is related to Brahma, it is Brahmin, Upanishadam, Brahmin, Upanishadam, te, Vava, eva, Abruma iti. The teacher replies. So we taught you the Upanishad, which is related to Brahma. That alone we taught you before. So the Upanishad was taught, and we taught you that Upanishad. The Paramatma Vishayam or Paramatma Vidyam, this Upanishad, we taught you the Upanishad which is related to Brahma. Uttam eva, Vava is eva, but definitely eva. In this way, Acharya Vadharayati ascertains that Brahma Vidya is taught, that teaching is over complete. Avadharayati. Uttarartham is, this way the Acharya ascertains, taught. Uttarartham is Uttara Mantrokta Sadhana Prakashartham. Uttara Granthartham. Uttara Granthartham is, with this mantra it is not complete. See, the Acharya is understood. Upanishad is taught. The student did not get the insight. So therefore, some preparatory sadhanas, it thinks of prescribing, suggesting that, therefore, Uttarartham, the Upanishad continues. So the next mantra is not, the following mantra is not something is going to teach different from what he has taught. Already it is taught, it is over. So therefore, the next mantra is only a support. It is only this, the jnana upaya only. The jnanam to happen. Some disciplines, prepared disciplines are required. That is only is going to teach. Therefore, Uttarartham. So Uttarartham, Uttarartham is Uttara mantra, Mantrokta, Sadhana Prakashartham. Therefore, the Acharya says, Avadharayati. Having said that, he didn't stop. He's going to teach Avadharayati. Uttameva Paramatma Vidyam Paramatma Vishayam Upanishadam Uttameva Paramatma Shabruma iti Avadharayati Uttarartham. It means the Acharya is not going to teach again the Upanishad which has already been taught. So he is going, what is going to teach is the sadhanas, the means which can help a person to get prepared for assimilating this knowledge. So, therefore, Upanishadam, that's why 2 times the Acharya says. Here, if you read the mantra again, Upanishadam Brobrugi iti Shishya asks, Uttate Upanishad, one time Acharya said, Hey, Upanishad, Brahmi Upanishadam Abruma. Second time also he says. First time he says, Utta Te Upanishad. Te to you, Upanishad Utta. It is in Karmani Prayoga. Then it is in Kartari Prayoga, Vayam Abruma Upanishadam. Then it is in Kartari Prayoga. So in Karmani Prayoga and Kartari Prayoga, in both Prayoga, the Acharya repeating the same thing. That is the Upanishad is taught to you. Why he says, why 2 times? It is unnecessary Purarukti dosha. It is for the sake of the following. Following is the following mantra prescribes certain disciplines. That is Jnana Upaya Sadhana. For that purpose only, it's repeated. The same thing is repeated. One is in Kartari, other one is Karmani. Otherwise, Uktate Upanishad, which is that the mantra should be concluded. Again, Brahmim Upanishadam Te Abruma not required. Acharya tells the same thing in Kartari Prayoga. The Upanishad tells the same thing in Kartari Prayoga. Why? Because Uttara Mantra Prakashana Mantra Sadhana Prakashartham Eva. That sadhana is going to be prescribed. What is that sadhana? That is, Upanishad says, Tasai, Tapo, Dama, Karma, Dipatishta, all this, Tapaha, Damaha, all these are required. The Upanishad is going to say that we will see later. Here, after this Bhashyam is done, then further discussion is there. So, there is in the form of Akshepa and Samadhanam that we will read this part of the Bhashyam. The next part we will read in the next class. We'll stop here. Wish you all again an happy New Year. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadah.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹಂಡ್ರಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣ್ಜಿ.
Dhanyavad ji. Some internet problem ji. So
I understand. No problem.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಅಜ್ಜಿ.
Dhanyavad.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಶರಣ್ಜಿ.
Dhanyavad.